You want to just, thank you. And we're here today with Bryant Her. We're so glad you're here, Bryant. Bryant is the general manager of the Hmong Farmers Cooperative, Washington Hmong Farmers Cooperative. And we get to learn about that today from Bryant. And I'll pass it over in just a second. I just want to say if you have questions, feel free to put them in the chat, or we'll have plenty of time for questions after Bryant finishes talking, and we'll just open it up for discussion at that point. So either way is fine. And Bryant, you want to go ahead and just say some more about yourself and just tell us about Hmong Farmers Cooperative?
Thank you, Marty. Thank you. Thank you. Good morning. Good afternoon. All. My name is Bryant Her. I'm the general manager for the Washington Hmong Farmers Cooperative. I have met some of you during our meeting down in Tumwater this beginning of the year this year, and it's an honor to see you guys again. I hope you guys are doing good. Um, the co-op, like I mentioned before, the cooperative had came a long way, especially this year. We bounced back from last year, and we're seeing more sales this year than by far any years that the co-op been formed. But yeah, I'm happy to be here. And you guys have any question, we could dive down to what's going on, operation, staff, sales, and just open up to any question that you guys might have.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about how the co-op got formed, Bryant? Just
Yes, yes.
do
Okay.
a little history and
Okay.
up to where you are now.
Okay. So the Hmong Farmers Cooperative was formed during the pandemic, during COVID, where most of all the farmers market were closed. And the farmers that we have here, they have they the Hmong folks, the Hmong farmers, they have bring that farming practice, farming heritage from back home from the country like Laos, Thailand, and coming here to the state, they see a way of growing stuff, even though they don't have like tractor. We have a member that don't have access to tractor or whatnot, and they only use a walk behind tiller, and they'll do all like 2 acres just that walk behind tiller. So during the pandemic, farmers market were closed. There are no way to like get the produce, flowers out to the market. So the Cynthia Vong and some other folks kind of formed this cooperative where finding stands, finding resource to like just to distribute out all the flowers and help the farmers out during the pandemic. So, but during the time, the co-op was up and was in the brink of going good, going bad, because still was and staffing during that time there was only one staffing, and there were so many things to get the co-op running. By um 2 years ago, there was another general manager before me that came on for a couple months, and he passed away to a sudden heart attack. And during that time was Bohr president, and Luke Warworth from NABC say, "Hey, I'm friend with Luke Warworth. He's a very nice guy." And say, "Hey, will you willing to be the new general manager?" And during that time, I was working too. I was a service tech I was a senior tech for Dish Network, and I say, "Oh yeah, I love the community. I love the farmer here, and I'm also a farmer too. I cultivate about almost 15 acres farmland myself too, and I see that what the farmers need, and um, as a farmer, you kind of see it firsthand. Besides someone coming in not knowing about farming life or anything like that, so I went ahead, took on the role of general manager. I was not I'm not gonna lie, to be honest. It was like a needle in a haystack. There was no direction whatsoever, and you just pick up the pace and say, okay, where are we gonna go with this cooperative? What are we gonna do? And we didn't the first year that I was there, we didn't have any sale until mid late August, where we signed with Central Co-op here in Seattle. And we did orders a few weeks until the off season and until this year, beginning of 2024. At the end of 2023 and 24, we talked to PCC market, and we negotiate about pricing and flowers for them. So we launched this year after right before Mother's Day in May, and now we were supposed to serve all 16 stores, but for me going big was I didn't want to do all out big at the first time. I didn't, because you're doing big, you might not understand what's the backside or any obstacle you might run to. So we start with five right now. We're doing five PCC store. We're doing about 100 something, about 100 bouquet each Friday. Today is my packaging day, so after this meeting, I'll be packaging all the flowers from the farmers and getting ready for tomorrow deliveries. And sales wise, our volume is pretty good. We're trying to expand to the others 11 stores. So hopefully by 2025 we'll be serving all 16 stores. So that's a little bit background the co-op right now.
That's amazing, Bryant. That's a big contract. Um, I was just looking at your website and I see that you have an online store there too. Are folks ordering through that? Is that just for is that for wholesale or for retail?
Yes, our website is up and going. If you is but basically go both way. You could buy directly as a customer and buying directly as a wholesaler or like a storefront. And our store open on Sunday um afternoon and closes on Wednesday afternoon. So you got that little time window to see what's going on. And usually I go in there on Sunday afternoon, Sunday morning and update all the inventory there with like flowers, produce. If I'll be calling members, see what they have for that week, how many bouquet will they fulfill. I just update all the quantity in there, and you guys can just go there and just okay, I want like 15 bouquet of the small seasonal bouquet and just pick, and it'll send like a pick list and we'll just get that fulfilled for you for the whichever day you pick for the delivery day. Yeah, it's been hard. We just lost our sales manager. I was telling Marty that we just lost our sales manager a few weeks ago, and she found a new job and she left, and now I'm taking the role of sales manager, GM, and doing all these stuff at the same time and learning what she was doing and turning that thing because I was controlling all the logistic, farming and whatnot, and she was focusing on sales. So now I'm doing her job too, but it's okay. I've been telling Luke and all along is that I have a passion for the community, and as a farmer, I understand the struggle and just want to do what's good for the community. And I have by far, I just want you guys to know that as a cooperative for the Hmong, there's in the nation, in the state here, there's haven't been a cooperative form in any state. So we in Washington State are the first Hmong cooperative. And I have talked to a organization in Minnesota in the beginning of the year, and they're thinking about forming a cooperative, but they didn't know what to do, how to start. And so they heard about us and they call us, contact us and see, hey, is it hard? What are you guys doing? What it's about? What's the sharing process? How many members you have? And getting a general idea. So my whole goal and vision of the cooperative, if we were to set a good setting stone here in Washington State, other state or other community like the Hmong, like we have big population in California, Minnesota, Milwaukee, North Carolina, Georgia, Colorado, a lot of Hmong population there that they do Florida too. It's a big Hmong population that they do farming, cultivation and stuff. And if like for me, I was always talking about this. If we do it like a good setting stone here, other state will kind of, hey, there's a cooperative there. They have this many member and they're getting all these sales and working as a community is what I believe in the vision I have for this cooperative.
How does the sharing work? How does the cooperative actually operate?
Okay, so we operate as a we have 15 members as of right now, and like what I did was if each week we have orders, so what I do is I'll I kind of we did a round robin source of thing that okay, well this week we have 100 bouquets coming in, and okay, farmer X, farmers B is up next. I'll be calling them, say, hey, are you guys do you guys have flour for this week? Or you could be able to fulfill this order. If they have enough, they'll take on the order. If not, we'll pass it on to the next one. And everyone have their own way of and share of going and doing all the bouquet. It's not just farmer B that's doing each week. So for me, if I'll be, hey, you have this for this much, what could you do it? And we'll just rotate and go around and round till the end of the year. And by far this year, it's the most sale volume that we have. I did a operational budget beginning of the year, and my suggestion was we're gonna be at 25K for the year. But now we surpassed that. We're up in the 30K and going. And the season is not over yet. Dallas might be at the end of the season. Dallas could go anytime now because the cold weather's is coming, rain is on the way, and Dallas doesn't stand good like that. It'll be nice, but once in the bouquet at the storefront, then they'll be having like a few days of like shelf left. And for me, quality go a long way. And as the general manager, providing flowers to like store, especially PCC, we just want it to be nice and fresh and have a better life shelf at the consumer home instead of buying it for $20 and go home and oh man, tomorrow's dead already. And so it go a long way for me.
So when it's that producer's turn to fill an order, do all of the producers pay into the co-op operations? And,
Go ahead.
well, okay, it's two questions. Do all of the producers pay into co-op operations as members? And then when it's each producer's turn, do they get the proceeds from those sales? Or does all of that go back, what they make go into the shared, into the cooperative to share?
Okay. I'll answer question number one first about the fee. At the beginning when the co-op was formed, there was a $20 membership fee. But when I took on the role and we didn't have any sales during that time, so it wasn't necessary to like because you pay for the first year if you're gonna join the co-op just $200 and $100 each year for the renewal after that year. And when I came on, we didn't have any sales coming in. There was nothing. So I went back and talked to our boards. Hey, do you guys agree what I'm doing my proposal now? Let's waive that fee off now and just letting any new members coming in free and don't charge that annual fee. So now there's no annual fee, no membership fee, but once the co-op is going and the sale volume is going, yes, that'll be back in place. So we could use that towards operational, buying supplies or other necessary thing that the co-op might need. Question number two is um the payment will go directly to each farmer, and the co-op will take like a 10 to 15%, if I remember correctly, from that sale. So for example, like for tomorrow delivery, for like PCC in Redmond, they order 15 small, which is at $10 for the member, and we would charge PCC like 12.50. So the co-op only receive like a $2.50 for each bouquet that is being sold. But to make it more easy, like this year, like was mentioned earlier, like we surpassed my the $25 that I kind of did on the operation budget. We are at 30,000. The co-op is only profiting about 5,000 out of that. And the other rest are going to all the members. About 25,000 or more is going back to the member and the farmers.
I'll ask one more question, but I want to just open it up too. But I do have one more question, which is you were mentioning that NABC has been helpful in supporting the co-op in various ways. Can you just say a little bit about how the co-op has worked with NABC?
Yes. Like NABC, we've been working with NABC. Melissa Muller, thank you. She's our fantastic grant writer. She's always there if you have question, helping us our reimbursement. Lou Woodward, fantastic guy. Have a heavy heart. Not by any mean or anything, but he's always there to help guide the co-op. He have a heart that, as me, he's had the most passion for the co-op and helping the co-op going here. So as a general manager from the cooperative, I would like to thank NABC for all the technical support, uh, guiding the co-op to this day and going forward. We couldn't be here without NABC. So you guys are amazing. We love you guys, and keep helping us so we could get to our dream.
That's great. Hi Maxime, nice you joined us today. That's great to see you. And does anybody have any questions that you'd like to ask? I don't want to dominate the Q&A for sure. Please just chime in or put.
I always have questions. I'm curious, Brian, if you all are planning to rehire a sales lead, or if you just plan on absorbing that role, and how, if so, how you would sort of advertise for that position, in case we have suggestions for you there. And then also, how are you all advertising and doing your outreach? Is it sort of just ad hoc, emailing PCC directly? Do you have outlets? Basically, what are the areas that we could potentially help support you?
Okay. Yeah, so for the sales manager position, I have talked to our board director regarding that position, and I, as we are going to our off season, I believe that I could just kind of handle that now, and maybe once the season start back up, or we're going to the new season of 2025. We're gonna start hiring, looking for a sales manager to kind of ease my role, and get that burden off my shoulder. I could do it, but there's just so many things that um come into play, and usually just one person, you can't get the work done as soon as possible. Um, I'm not sh I'm not sure we're advertising or anything like that beside the website. I have talked to our previous sales manager about advertising like Instagram, Facebook, and other source of media that we could launch our name out there, but I'm not sure that she have done that. But I want to ask for help from all you guys who are getting our name out there, show who we are, finding sales, finding resource. We need a lot of resource to help out this co-op and going forward, because it's just not just focusing on sale is the most important thing by far anything, but not just sale, but you still need resource from other folks like organic, um, others, like to technical assistant, um, grants, and uh, and other stuff that come in play.
How do you do distribution? How do you get the product around to all the stores? And
We have two delivery van, and usually when our storefront closes on Wednesday, and once we get the order coming in, I'll be calling members, and once the member accept the order, they'll process it on Thursday, like today, and by mid-afternoon Thursday, they'll drop it off at our irrigation system, at our irrigation location, and I'll be there wrapping them in our new sleeve that we PCC have suggest us to. We used to do it the butcher white paper that everyone's just kind of familiar with, like a pie place or any farmers market that you go to. But what PCC, they didn't want that. The paper kind of fungal and look ugly after a few days with people touching it. So we switched out to the sleeve with traditional plastic sleeve. So I'll be there um packaging them, labeling them with our UPC code, and put into our van, and by Friday morning I'll be out delivering to all the stores.
so you're the distributor too.
Yes, yes. Not just the general manager, but I do everything.
That is a lot.
Yes. Yes.
Um, and is it only flowers? Because I thought I heard you mention produce too.
We did provide some produce to Volunteer America from in Arlington. We did for almost a month uh in August. So right when our sales manager resigned, the guy from Volunteer America resigned too. So now is I couldn't get a hold of the new manager there. So it's at a standstill as we speak right now.
Steph, did you have a question?
I was just curious how do you pay you?
How they pay me?
Yeah.
We have a few grants. One is from WSDA and the others from a VAPG. So we have some of those grants to be paying for staffing as of right now too.
Are there other questions for Bryant?
I guess following up on that question, is Galen here. Um, uh, it sounded like you said earlier that paying you was part of the like percentage, the way that the sales are structured is that, the co-op does have some revenue coming in from those sales. So is long term the thought to grow the sales to a point where your position does not need to be grant funded?
Yes, yes, correct. Yes. We're leaning toward that way. And like I mentioned to our board director that we can't just settle on grants. We have to find more sales coming in, and so we won't have to like be on the burden. Hey, the grant's going low. What are we gonna do? So well, sales volume is gonna go up, and once that sales volume go up, most of the income that's coming in will be paying for staffing. Yes.
Is
Do you
your business?
have, oops, sorry, Marty.
You go ahead, Misha.
I'm curious about the capacity. So obviously your capacity as one person is limited, but the capacity of the cooperative in terms of products grown, like, how many bouquets are available? I mean, is there just a ton of capacity to expand the cooperative? Or are you guys sort of at your, yeah, it doesn't sound like you're at your limit, but how much growth do you anticipate that you guys could accommodate if you had, good staffing?
We could accommodate hundreds of bouquets if we have that sale coming in, that volume. Because for the 15 members, I believe that for myself in general, as a farmer myself, I could accommodate about 100 200 bouquets each week. So I have no doubt that our member we cannot fulfill any orders to that intent. Flowers, but for the produce it's pretty hard and limited because in the co-op right now we only have like 2 members that are growing produce.
Is your is your co-op seasonal, or do you have kinds of flowers grown year round and maybe greenhouses or something?
We are considered seasonal for the fresh cut flowers. Usually there's dry flower and cabbage flower. So after Dahlia here in the next week, day or so, it's gonna be cabbage flowers. And after that, it's gonna be dry flower. So cabbage flower is not typically popular is compared to fresh flowers. So usually we are a seasonal storefront for the flowers.
And for PCC?
Yes, for PCC, our last meeting was, I was coming to a conclusion where, hey, let's give them some dry flowers, because I know dry flowers, like I was mentioning, dry flowers will be a hard. It's not gonna be. It's not. I don't want to use the word hard, but like going to a store front, do you want a dry flower or you want a fresh flower? So for me, my vision, I was thinking that could we provide you with some dry flower and do like a trial run, like a test run, and see if there's anyone interest or any sales going. If not, we could stop and we could continue that back in March. But the dry flower from like farmers market is very popular because they last for a long time, and like there's good sales at the farmers market, but we haven't tried like in a store before. So it's gonna be like a trial run in the next week or so. We're gonna do some trial run at PCC. Hey, these are dry flowers, and see what folks are thinking about.
You mentioned the farmer's market, do you have a cooperative booth at the farmer's market?
No, we don't at the moment. We don't, we like, we kind of want one, but as the staffing, and we don't have that capacity at the moment. But we're thinking about it. If we could find someone that, hey, could you, could we get like a booth there and someone that would be selling flowers from there?
Farmers markets can also be, in my experience, really funny about allowing cooperatives to sell. A lot of the other farmers will get upset and feel like they're
Right. Yes.
out
Yes.
competed. It's I've always thought that would be a great idea for, especially for small farmers markets where there just aren't a lot of farms, but it can be a challenge.
That's interesting. Mariah, thanks for joining today. Anybody, if you have questions you'd like to ask Bryant, jump on in. Floor is open.
I've been a bit distracted, so apologies if you already explained this in the history portion, but I would love a little history on the kind of flower growing and Hmong culture in general. Like what kinds of flowers were traditionally grown, and what that process of like adapting to more regional varieties was like, or if you were there for that. I would love to hear a little bit about that.
About the traditional flowers that the Hmong folks are growing.
Yeah, just in sort of the history of or the tradition of flower growing. Like, was that something that happened in Laos and Thailand before? And if so, like what kinds of flowers were grown in Thailand, and kind of what was the process? Because I think I remember Luke saying something about like originally trying to grow some of the more tropical varieties here and having to like adjust and learn about regional varieties. And I
Mhm.
just would love to hear a little bit about that process.
Okay.
It's,
Yeah, sure.
if you
Yeah.
were there and
I-
are able
Yeah,
to.
I'll try my best. So me as a me, I'm for generation to be born in the state. My parents was from Laos. My dad served during the war, helped rescuing POWs during the Vietnam War. And you know, like the Hmong farmers here, they haven't grown any flowers back home. Rice, and all the produce that they will kind of grow and feed their kids or livestock. Most when the Hmong settled here in the late 80s, they saw the vision of flowers and how popular it was. So they kind of adapt to that and bring on that heritage. Of, hey, you know, we have that background heritage of growing. We know the knowledge. Even though most of the farmers here, they don't go to classes or um um learn from other. They just hands on and growing all these kind of stuff was just by hand. No machinery. Everything's done by hand. Weeding, plantation, picking. Everything was just done by hand, and they just they have the energy, the passion. Because most of them they have a second language barrier, like the older farmers, older generation, like you see at Pike Place where they're in their seniors. But now I have seen for the past 2 years now, I've seen like new generation, like myself, like the 30s, the mid 20s that are seeing that from their parents, and they are adapting that from their parent, or they are taking over their parents' business and start inheriting that farming practice, or they see a vision, or they see a value in flowers. um they're not so they're it's not that I don't want to say so much into produce, but they don't have a way to distribute or compete with the market price of the farmers market. So they see a vision in flowers, so they grow all kind of flowers here. Back home, they in Laos and Thailand, there's wasn't any flowers there, but just produce and rice. But here they kind of adapt that, and they flowers was the key here, and it just went all out. I was in Minnesota late late August, and Pike Place was known out there. Hey, um are you guys from Pike Place? Do you get are you do you are you have you seen those popular flowers there? I say, yeah. We 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 have farmers that are or members that are selling from Pike Place Market, and it's an icon that people would know us from far away, not just Minnesota, from like North Carolina, New York. Pike Place is key, and it's the way folks would kind of see our produce and the flowers that would have a nationwide effect. And so they they just have the heritage of just going all out and not they don't have a boundary to set. They don't even though stuff is if in the inflation that stuff are going high, they still, even though they don't make much each year, they would still do it the next year because of the passion, the love, and it just where they kind of get all the stress out of it. Once they at that farm. Like for me, I'm stressed home, stressful from work, and right when you set foot at the farm, everything's gone. You say, okay, what I'm gonna do? Okay, I'll pick flowers. I'm weeding on the tractor, you know. So the Hmong folks are like that. They don't care if they're gonna make 100,000 this year, even though they're just out there picking flowers. They're happy already because that's their vision, that's their livelihood. And for me as a farmer myself, like I'm not just doing flowers, produce, but we do nursery too. We do succulents, potted plants, and I'm doing all this. And I was telling my, I have, I'm a, I want to say this. I'm a father of 8 girls, and I was blessed to have my boy this year. So I have nine
Ah,
kids. I have 9 kids, and
wow.
it is a a stress. And I like, for me, I was on my girls that I was on my daughter that if I'm gone, I want you to take on the business. And you see, but they see how hard we play out there. We go early in the every Saturday at the farmers market. We're setting flowers. We're not just sitting and waiting for customers to buy, but we're on our feet making that bouquet, um, and on our feet that 6 whole hours, just constantly making bouquet and the struggle. And like she said, no, no, Dad, it's too much. I don't want to take on that burden. I don't want to be up in the morning. I would rather go to school and find me a good job. But I was telling her, money doesn't come easy. You don't gotta work for it. You have to have passion. You gotta love what you're doing. And for me, like, and not just myself, but the other farmers, they see that. The Hmong folks, they see that even though they don't make that much, hey, they're gonna be out there and do it. Especially like this year with the tulip. Right now it's tulip plantation time now, and all our members are busy planting tulip before the rain come in. Tulip this year have gone. The price have gone skyrocket, compared to last year and the year before, and this year there's been quadruple what we're paying last year. And folks are still buying it. And I said, oh my gosh, are you guys kidding? They're paying like 15,000 for what they're paying, from that many. Like 15,000, you'll get like 60 crate, and like the year before you're only paying like 8,000, 7,000 for that. So but folks are still buying it because they have that passion. They have no way of going to work, finding, because one, like the seniors and but the mid 50, they don't have like a high school diploma, or there's some, they have it, but the language barrier, they don't they just don't have the skill to go out there in the daily world working from 9 to 10, like a 9 to 10 job. And they just love farming. And that's how I have the passion to be a general manager going to my 2 years. And I just love how the community formed, and working here and just getting them to the right direction is my passion. And they're just hardworking. Like I was mentioning earlier, we have a member that doesn't have any tractor stuff. They only use a walk behind, and they cultivate about 3 acres. And I said, oh my gosh, I have tractor and my life is still hard. And you guys are doing that by hand. I said, oh my gosh. But they still do it. They still do it. They still, oh my, I said, oh man, how long does it take to plant? I said, wow, a couple of weeks. I said, I could get mine done about a couple of days, and you guys are a couple of weeks. But it's just that passion that the Hmong folks have here in the Pacific Northwest. And I'm very proud to be a part of it too.
When you mentioned just the prices going up, you mean the prices of bulbs
Yes.
for planting?
Yes.
And then the risk being, can we sell the flowers for enough to recoup those costs next year?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
And plus, not just that, but Mother Nature, deer, flooding, and everything is coming to play. Like this year, for our farm, we cut back. When my wife ordered it, it was like 17,000. I told her, no, 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 don't do it. We did the private before last year. We did that. We lost 80% of it, and she was crying. And I told her, hey, you can't always win in the farming life. You can't expect to win each year. You gotta take loss and just kind of recuperate and bounce back and go from there. So this year, from the price that's going up, we just kind of cut back and um plan as we need, and go from there.
Are you
As-
able to raise the, I'm sorry, Marty.
Oh, well, I just saw there's a hand up with somebody with a phone number that
Oh,
I don't know who it is, but the 423 number. Is somebody there who wanted to talk? All right, Misha, go for it.
when you, so experiencing these inflationary costs, like a lot of farmers do, often farmers are having to shift that onto the customer. I imagine with something like fresh flower bouquets, there's sort of a ceiling And so I'm curious, if you all have been able to raise your prices to accommodate those changes over the last few years, or how you guys are absorbing those costs.
That's a good question too. Most farmer, they don't raise their price. The price is still the same, even though with inflation and stuff. And most farmer will raise like another $5 towards the bouquet. It used to be a $20 bouquet at any farmer's market, or $15. And folks are still selling for $15, $20 even with inflation. And there's not even counting their labor, their time. And as long as they're out there just selling, they're happy. I said, oh my gosh, are you guys even counting or making up for your time, your labor? They said, no, we're just out there making bouquet and we're just selling it. So they're, even with inflation, no, the price have not gone up. And I wish they would, but with inflation, if you raise the price, your sales volume you're gonna go lower, because like $5 more, and folks, oh, I don't want to buy. I'd rather go to the grocery store. So you end up with that.
Do you get the sense that the growers you work with would be interested in some business development education if it was taught, in a culturally appropriate way in their language?
I believe so, yes. I believe so, yes. Because usually most of our members have their daughter or son be the line of contact. And usually, kids these days, they don't kind of interpret that back to their parents in a good way so they understand. But we could find resource. There's resource like that. We could do translation and get into writing where it's more clear and for more understanding, and so the folks, the parents of the farmers could understand more.
I just have another question about how the co-op works. Does every farmer grow a diversity of flowers and make their own bouquets, or do farmers get together and, somebody grew the tulips and somebody else grew the dahlias, and together they, or whatever, make mixed bouquets together?
Each farmer own their own flowers, fillers, and they just do their own flowers and or put them together. And each farmers have their own way of technique of doing each flowers too. This year, as our show is going, I want to tell you guys a little quick funny story. Was I have a customer, and I have a member that fulfilled this order, and I went to pick it up at our location, our facility, and taking it out from the cooler. So, oh, why does it smell like mint? And so, does it have to? It smell like mint? So I was, oh, what is going on? And I took it off because the cooler light was dead. So I took it out here so I could start packaging. And what they did was put mint all over the flour and just put the flour in there. So, oh my gosh! And I did that week of delivery, and the whole delivery van was smell like mint. And I came home, and my wife said, what did you do? Why you smell like mint, peppermint? I said, honey, it was a bouquet. So every folks have the farmers have their own way of technique of doing flowers. Some will do like goods one, and some was like, oh, it's too big. So everyone have their own way of doing it. And to answer your question, yes, they all have their own flowers, filler flowers. And today I say, hey, Marty, could you do this order? And you just, okay, how many bouquet? Just do it and just drop it off.
And they set their own price, I guess, if it's a $15 or a $20.
For like
it PC?
example, for PCC, me as a general, we have set our standards for PCC. So what I did was, okay, for PCC, for a small bouquet, there will be this X amount of local flower and this X amount of filler flowers. And it'll go on to the next one and the next. And it will just have some, as long as there's that many local flower in that certain price range there, it'll be okay. So before that, we didn't have a standard and there was like a miscommunication where, okay, this week we'll have this many local flower in there. Next week, this member will do, and those will be only like, oh, a few in there. And it was just a little mess up because once you do that, it doesn't come back on the member, but it will look bad on the cooperative itself. So what I did was went back there and say, hey, you know, we got to set a standard. We got to do like a bouquet standard, where all the members are following our standard, and it went good. It did very good, and we just focusing on the standard. And we have one particularly for just PCC itself, and one in general for our seasonal bouquet. So we have two standards that we play in the cooperative.
Get
Do
it.
you
That's
mark?
pretty cool.
Oh, sorry, Marty, go ahead.
I'm done.
Oh, do you market, is your branding and marketing the co-op, or does the farms do individual marketing and you're distributing that way?
We are going through the cooperative, branding through the cooperative.
I have just mostly a comment, I guess, but just that, like, growing of the flowers is a whole line of work and expertise, but then actually like putting the bouquets together, that's a whole additional expertise. And I
Mhm.
feel like that's really underrated, like for myself as like a hobby flower grower at home, you can take all the beautiful flowers that you grow and throw them together,
Mhm.
and all of a sudden it's like, well, that doesn't look as good as I thought it would.
Yes.
And so I wonder if you all see that as part of your work and as part of your value as like artists that are putting together something beautiful. Do folks see that about their own work?
Yes, they do. They take pride and putting that bouquet in there and having that assurance, that guarantee freshness, and that live show at home. And they just take so much pride, even because usually a typical bouquet that the farmers would do, it'll range from like 5 to 10 minutes on each bouquet, and they'll sell that for like $20. And you know, think about it. It's not even when you think about the long run and the vision of it, their labor, their time is not even accommodate or accounted for. But they just love the passion of, hey, I'm doing this bouquet, and I'm just gonna take pride in it and go from there. And not just this, but like for farmers market, like I see a lot of farmers that, even myself at the farmers market, if I do like a $20 bouquet, I'll put like 5 stem, 6 stem focal flower in there. And the next one, I forget. I'll put like 8 in there. And by the time it'll be more and more and more and more. And just for $20. So you start with one, and by the time you're thinking, oh darn it, you went back and look at all your flowers, like, oh damn, this had one half. We don't have a standard of bouquet that the farmers are doing. They just do whatever they feel like doing and just put everything together. It's just a passion and love and the curation that each individual folks are doing. It's phenomenal, amazing. It's mind blowing. We're doing like a little workshop maybe this coming spring, off season, and I was thinking about getting some flour and doing like a little workshop where, hey, let's do this so it'd be faster, so you don't have to waste your time on doing like a $10 bouquet, because the $10 bouquet usually take them like 3 minutes to do. But if you go on YouTube and search how to do fast bouquet, and they'll just put boom 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 and put all the flour together and wrap it up, and it's nice, right? But like I was trying to do that this year with the members, and I said, we don't know how to do that. We don't. We're so used to making this nice bouquet, and you want us to make an ugly bouquet. We can't do it. I said, okay, then do whatever you want.
Well, there's an opportunity there for YouTube videos that are how to make beautiful Hmong
Mhm.
Farmers Cooperative bouquets.
Yes.
Can't give away all the trade secrets, but
For sure,
maybe.
for sure. If it's part of marketing, though, it could be
Yes.
fun. People might love it.
I think
I
you
mean,
could
that's
pretty easily show people and they would still not be able to make that nice of a bouquet. I think it's safe to say.
Mhm.
I mean, that's something that comes to mind for me. And so always thinking about ways to maximize a farm's profit. And so and it doesn't always fit for the farmer in question, but there is opportunity there to potentially have some workshops, obviously for your own community that you're talking about, but if you have public facing workshops where people get to come in, you're using all of the local flowers you've already grown, and you're charging them $100 or whatever to build their own bouquet, and you're teaching them a little bit of your process.
Mm-hmm.
It's fun, it's an experience for them. They're learning those skills, but they're not replacing, they're not going to replace that. They're going to still buy them from you, but it's just a
Yes.
fun event and
Mhm.
experience and a way for your farmers to potentially make a little extra money.
Right. I believe that. That's a good idea too. We kind of this year when back in May when PCC did a event showcasing the cooperative, we did provide them with some flowers, and I was honored to be there in Seattle. And all folks would just come to the PCC store and just pick out flowers and start doing it themselves, and everything was local. And they was like, "Oh my God, we didn't know that this flower was growing here." So yeah, all these came from local, from the King County, Snohomish County. Everything is very local. And I like your suggestion there. Maybe in the near coming year, because usually during our peak season, March to September, all the folks are busy, and even myself are busy with working, farming, and I and during the off season, there's no flowers to kind of do like a little workshop. But that's good. I love that opportunity, that idea to showcase some of what co-op have to offer.
Okay, one more thing for me, and then I'll be quiet. Sorry, Galen.
I was just gonna say it could
Um,
overlap with the already doing the work. Like you show up on a day where they're making bouquets, and it's
Mhm.
what's anyway. That's
well, having the public there when you're actually trying to work is really challenging. Um, I'm curious, last question, if, and maybe once you have more capacity for sales and outreach, but sort of the hospitality market in Seattle and around the area, like hotels and restaurants, even if it's a different kind of styled bouquet, something a little smaller, but that could be an interesting avenue to pursue.
Mhm. We've been talking to a few like hospital, restaurant, hotel, but it just a matter of time, and most of them have not respond back, but we're working, and hopefully we could secure some of those. I believe it's a very good idea. I was thinking about like apartment complex or a condo where there's hundreds of resident there, and sign like a daily like a CSA flower kind of deal, or hey, you sign up and we'll just send you fresh flower each week, and from this X amount, and just do that and get like a daily or like a each week. Once the flower died, they have one ready to be replaced each week. So that's my vision going to 2025, as we are setting some stone here. And 2024 is about in, but 2024 here is way beyond what I kind of expect, and we're heading there, but we just need some more support on sales side, technical assistant, advertise, we're just getting the name out there, but we're working on that. Yes.
Well, sounds like you're doing great, and it's been really fun to hear about today. Thank you so much for being with us, Bryant,
Thank
and
you. Thank
sharing
you
all that
all.
good info.
Thank you. Thank you, NABC, WSDA, and thank you all you guys for taking the time. And I'm honored. I'm very honored. I was someone like just a person like me. I'm talking to all these high ranking folks, and it just made me so proud that I'm not just a general manager or a farmer, but I'm talking to everyone, and you guys are amazing. I anything you guys need from the cooperative, let us know, and we'll do our best to help you guys out.
Thank you so much.
Mhm.
Before we totally end here, I just want to say that we're continuing with Lunch and Learns on the second Thursday at noon, second Thursday of the month. And so our next one is going to be November 14th, and it's going to be Aslan Mead talking about the Tenino Ag Park. which is a really interesting project. So I hope you'll join us for that. And yeah, just register in advance. That'll get you a link. And again, thanks for being here today. And thanks, Bryant.
Thank you.
Have a good
Thank
rest of
you.
your day, everybody.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, everyone.
Everyone. Brian, can I ask you
Um,
one question before
Yes.
everybody hops off?
Yes.
I wanted to know if we checked with like Sarah in the past, but if you had looked into getting all the farms listed and then the cooperative listed on Eat Local First on the Washington Food and Farm Finder.